and Kenyatta in Redlands, California. Hey, Kenyatta, what's up?
Mr. Hartmann, I'll tell you, I think you may have outdone yourself with today's show. Your shows are always compelling, and maybe it's just because of the events of the last few days. I'm going to try and be as concise as I can. First, I wanted to comment on one of your previous callers by the name of Marvin, who spoke about slavery, and I just wanted to say this. There's often a homogenization and equivocation when it comes to American slavery, but American slavery was very unique. You know, there were many cultures that had servants or slaves that were often held in very high esteem, almost like family members. They were bequeathed things at the owner's death, so forth and so on. There have been few examples of American slavery in terms of rape and lynching and the denial of humanity with a 300-year half-life. Yeah. American slavery was very unique in its brutality, and I just want to put that out there.
You're absolutely right, and let me add the racialization of slavery. My understanding of the history of slavery is that an entire race of people, an entire group of people, has never historically been identified as being less than fully human, and that was the essence. I mean, it wasn't just white supremacy. It was like, whites were the only real humans in the minds of some of the people who founded this country and went forward, and including Thomas Jefferson, frankly. And
that is. I'm sorry, Tom.
No, I was just going to say, and it's evil. Back to you.
It is absolutely unique, and it was institutional denial of humanity.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I wanted to talk about Muhammad Ali. Mm-hmm. My dad was a drill instructor in the Marine Corps. Tom, he was a weaponless defense drill instructor.
Wow.
And I grew up with Muhammad Ali in the house all the time. And, I love the man. He was very close to Malcolm X, and you know that I'm a big fan of Malcolm X. And I wanted to just say that I listened to an interview with Bob Costas, who's had his own problems in his own life, yesterday, and he referred to when he remembered Muhammad Ali in some of his interviews and interactions with him. He referred to him as being vain and egotistical. And I thought it was very interesting, and if you'll look up those words, they have a really negative connotation. And I was just thinking, were he white, he would have been described as being assertive and confident.
Right.
And it's really interesting that you were talking about the assassination, the anniversary of the assassination of RFK. I think that is really interesting, coming on the heels of the death of Muhammad Ali. And it is even more interesting, it seems to me, Tom, and I'd like for you to comment on this. It seems that every person in this country that has stood up for whatever reason, whatever their motivations, for the rights and respect of black people, tends to end up dead, and in a violent way. If it's Abraham Lincoln, John F. Kennedy, Malcolm X, RFK, Martin King. And, Muhammad Ali was one of the last champions that you could identify. I know there's Black Lives Matter, and that's kind of a nebulous movement, however honorable. But Muhammad Ali was a champion, an individual, like I grew up with Martin and Malcolm, that black people could identify with, and there's none of that anymore. And I thought about my children. They have nothing of the sort.
Well, in some ways, from my white perspective, it seems that the struggle has changed somewhat. And were I the parent of African-American kids, or if I were a young person growing up black in America right now, I think rather than looking to Muhammad Ali, who has gone, most younger people don't know that much about him, I would be looking at Michelle and Barack Obama. I mean, there's a whole new generation of role models for African-Americans, are there not?
My problem with and I don't, by no means do I intend to infer that you are predictable, but I kind of expected you to say that. Here's the difference, Tom.
Well, I may well be
Barack and Michelle Obama, as much as I, especially Michelle, I love, are very muted in terms of dealing with issues that are particularly black. In fact, I forget the guy that does Meet the Press, Chuck Todd.
Chuck Todd, yeah.
Chuck Todd spoke about Eric Holder, former Attorney General, who mentioned that he took the arrows in terms of issues of race for Barack Obama. Because Barack Obama could not really, and Barack Obama's in a very terrible position in a way, because I think he probably wants to, express and talk about issues that are peculiar to black people, and we have some very peculiar issues, but we live in a society which won't allow him to do that, even as president. And so I think in that way they're very different. Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, Martin King, and to a lesser degree, RFK and JFK were not muted in such a way. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. And I'm expecting, although I may well be wrong, that once President Obama is no longer in office, that he's going to start speaking out more forcefully on issues like race. But oh,
you better believe it.
I'd be astonished if he wasn't.
You better believe it.
Yeah,
I concur.
Yeah, and I look forward to that.
Agree with that.
I look forward to that because he's got a unique position. Not a moral position, a political position, a celebrity position. He's got. I mean, if there's anybody out there who could, help pull this country together from its racial past, it's President Obama, I think. As post-president, but we'll see. We'll see. But
great show today, Tom.
Yeah. Okay, Kenyatta, thanks a lot for the call. I appreciate it.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here, and please be sure to hit the handy dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.